lineup. Has anyone seen the lineup? Still hasn't come out, but officially has probably come out on Twitter. I'm looking at One Football app. I'm looking at everywhere. You know what? It is Sunday. It's Mother's Day, and I hope you've been giving your mothers flowers. I mean, we've been in Spain. We had lots of paella. We probably drank a lot of cerveza, and we're kind of getting tired of that cerveza. But today, we're having British. We're having the traditional Sunday roast, and some people call it ham, but I like it full ham. Let's see if we are qualifying all the way to the semifinals. I have my scintillating panel waiting in the background. Let's do this. Let's do this, and let's review the lineup as we go. Here we go. Hey, listen, I'm Antonio Conte. I came to Sperzi from Italy. I asked for money, he gave me money. I asked for Mbappe, he gave me a piece of toast for breakfast. I asked, I want a piece of toast. He said, you cannot piss on toast. I say, fuck you, I'm Italian, eh? I asked for pasta. He gave me pasta, but there was no fork on the table. So I said, I want a fork on the table. He said, you cannot fork on the table. I said, fuck you, I'm Italian. I'm Conte. Eh? I went to my room, my office room, and there was no shit on the bed. So I called Daniel Levy. I said, listen, I want to shit on the bed. And he said, you cannot shit on the bed. I said, fuck you. Yeah, Spurs, you haven't won for 20 years. I'm going back to Italy. Ciao. Welcome, guys. What a rant. I mean, we all saw it yesterday transpiring. Antonio Conte threw his toys out of the pram, and boy, do we laugh or do we say, yeah, that's comical? But you know what? We're not here to talk about Spursy, right? We are here about talking Manchester United in the quarterfinal, baby. Talk to us. I have my scintillating panel back in action. Dan, he's been training. He's been like on a boot camp. He's been stretching. Dan, Red Devils TV, welcome back to the channel. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me back. It's been a while, but you know, glad to be back on the channel. It's been a minute.
Definitely. I hope you gave your mother's flowers today, right?
Yeah. I've given my mum wine. I've given her flowers, breakfast in bed, tea, the lot. So yeah, she's very happy.
All you're missing is a symphony orchestra, like.
I can't play an instrument. So,
maybe my dad would play that for him today.
Caesar, again, a warm welcome for the second appearance in Mufc Realist TV panel.
Yep.
How are you today? Scintillating. Did you also buy your mother's flowers today, or your wife?
I actually cooked for my wife last night because I didn't want to cook today. So took the birthday off her because today should be a quiet day for, all the wives, mothers, sisters, grandmoms, aunties. It's a special day because, women play a special role in our lives. I don't care how you see it, but yeah, I respect that a lot and I'm celebrating as much. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. But we're also here to celebrate the quarterfinals and Erik ten Hag. Nobody expected us to be in FA Cup quarterfinal. We already actually got one trophy done and dusted. It's in the cabinet, but he's got the ice on the prize, and we have FullHam. I haven't seen the lineup as of yet, but Dan, you saw the lineup just recently. What have you discovered?
So it's David De Gea, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire as Varane is out of the squad. So we believe that's an injury before the games happened or in training. So yeah, Maguire starts, Martinez, Luke Shaw's back after being rested on Thursday against Real Betis. We've got McTominay and Sabitzer in the midfield pivot. We've got Bruno Fernandes, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, and Wout Weghorst.
Wow, that was I've been covering the Erik ten Hag season this whole season. I only got one score lineup prediction correct, and I didn't see this happen. I didn't see this. Caesar, what's your initial reaction on that one?
Well, I think that's a strong enough squad to get the win today. There's a lot of changes to the team, and as expected, given the amount of fixtures we have to deal with, and also the suspension. So I was surprised that Varane was, announced not in the squad today because, it just came out this morning and that's something I heard yesterday. But I believe with the presence of Martinez in the defense and Maguire, I believe Maguire is, good enough to have a very decent game against Fulham. I'm not going to, take a piss at him. He's been playing very well after the World Cup, the little chances he's had. I believe the midfield, giving away Bruno's playing a little deep, now giving a new role the way everything has been playing over the last 2 games, gives us an extra body in midfield and the creativity from deep for our attackers to take advantage of it. What I'm really interested in to see this game is how much our power line is going to link up to take advantage of the potential chances we'll be creating, because I believe that midfield is good enough to create a lot of chances, especially with Bruno and Sabitzer playing as the 6 and the 8.
Okay, yeah. Dan, looking at this formation, I think it's a little bit of weird formation. It looks like a 4-1-4-1. This cannot be correct, right?
I'd say it's just the way it's lined up. I would say it's the standard 4-2-3-1 or the 4-3-3. It depends how Erik ten Hag actually wants to set up. It depends if he wants to have McTominay as that holding midfielder, or if he just wants to have the midfield 3 partnership of Bruno, Sabitzer, and McTominay. I do think though that if you swap Jadon Sancho around with Sabitzer, then Sancho will probably be out on the wing, and same as Rashford, and then Weghorst through the middle. But maybe it's just a bit of a glitch or something on One Football. But I don't think we'd set up like that. But if we have, then obviously Erik ten Hag is setting up something new.
What's the most shocking out of this lineup? I would say I thought first and foremost, I thought Fred would be partnering with Sabitzer in a double pivot.
Yep.
But maybe they're looking for some height, some physicality. That's probably explains why number 39 McTominay starts. But in terms of Martinez and Maguire, Maguire didn't put a foot wrong last time we played in the Europa League as well.
Yep.
So I'm just thinking in terms of the physical presence of Mitrovic, right? So maybe he's there to sort of shield, the aerial threat of Mitrovic in the air.
Yep. And just to supplement what you just said, that's why I like the presence of Martinez alongside Maguire, because Martinez makes sure that all of the ground do as I want, and then you have somebody like Maguire who makes sure that the air do as I want.
Yeah,
I'm saying that because I know Fulham's only going to play with 1 striker. They'll play with 2 wingers and 1 striker. So we have 2 central defenders who I believe has more than enough to take care of him today. But what I see from the lineup up there is Erik ten Hag is going to be playing a lot of high press today. When you see Bruno and Sabitzer are playing in advanced roles, they're not playing like the traditional complementary, double pivot that someone plays alongside Casemiro. We have that anchor man in McTominay to provide shield for the central defense, but we'll also have a lot of energy in Sabitzer and Bruno to make in runs in the defense. But the focus of that particular formation I'm seeing right now is heavy on attack. I think he really wants for us to keep the ball in their half as much as possible.
Mick,
and that's
can you pull up the Fulham team? Because I just want to see how Erik ten Hag is set up.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We have Mitrovic on top. We have Willian. Of course, Willian's been doing the London club rounds. We have preseason Perlo that we know well. Pereira. We have Dekovan Reid. That's the attacking.
Okay.
Palhinha is good. I know. Reid. Robinson, Ream, Diop, Issa Diop, yeah. Tete and Leno.
So, just something that I'm looking at here is, so obviously Pereira's been absolutely exceptional for Fulham this season, and if you see the way he's very free in that formation, everything resolves around him. So the pivot midfield in Palhinha and Reid, they feed towards Pereira, and then Pereira will feed the wingers or Mitrovic. So I feel like Pereira in this game is going to be very, very important for Fulham's formation. And United, if you pull it back to United's formation, that might be why Erik ten Hag has gone 4 in midfield, because he might want to exploit them wider areas, because it seems like Fulham have gone for a narrow formation today.
No, 100%. Mitrovic is probably the aerial threat that we know. Good old Serbian. right? He's very good in the head, and that's why my analysis was okay. That makes sense to start Harry Maguire, you know, to cover the aerial threats of Mitrovic, but he's not that fast. And you know, then we have you know, the likes of Martinez. We see what Martinez can do with the ball, right? But in terms
Yep.
of, do you think, like, if we pull it back to Manchester United again, right? I mean, guys, just throw out the question: who do you see will be the biggest threat here out of Fulham? I don't rate William that much. Pereira, yes,
I do say Pereira.
yeah, shots.
For me,
And I said,
I will lean towards, you know, if there will be any effective Fulham player in this game, it will be because of somebody in Man United not doing their part. Because we have what it takes to shut them down. Like literally, I mean, you already said it. Mitrovic does not have pace, and with two central defenders on him, you know, we have enough to take care of the attack. But we also have to worry about the wings, because it's clear that with the setup, they set up for kind of counter attack, kind of like, you know, that traditional 4-2-3. This was Jose Mourinho's favorite formation when he played most of the time, and it was very effective. Not just Mourinho, most of those who play that type of football by doing that era. 4-2-3 is very effective. It's a very balanced formation to absorb a lot of attack at the same time to counter when, you know, they lose the ball. So I believe a lot is going to depend on the transitions. Like when we lose the ball, how much we cover up for each quarter. Or else is, I mean, Fulham has a lot of players to hurt us. I mean, there's a lot of experience in that lineup. You're talking about William. William knows how to score a goal. He knows how to score a cracker. Mitrovic is a deadly striker as well. And even Pereira himself, he knows how to even score. So I believe, Fulham has what it takes to hurt us if we give them the opportunity. That's why you know, that's what summarize. Yeah.
I agree with your point, Paul. If United players aren't doing their part, and with the game against Real Betis in midweek, United seem to struggle with on the counter attack because I can't remember. I think it's Gallagher's Real Betis' striker. He was kind of using Maguire as a shield towards Martinez, and he was making runs across Maguire to then target Martinez's side, because Martinez couldn't see where he was coming from because of how big Maguire is. So for me, it seems that the weak links are definitely going to be McTominay and Maguire in this game. And with Caesar, you saying about United players not doing their parts, I'd say that that's where it's going to hurt us a little bit. And with Fulham playing a narrow formation, they're probably going to run right at our defenders instead of going out wide. So it really depends on how Maguire and McTominay play, because I do think McTominay does need that support with Sabitzer in that midfield. So hopefully Sabitzer isn't out wide as that formation said. That hopefully he's not, but if he is, then I think it's going to be a tricky game.
Yeah, I would say the Fulham is not pushovers, but you know, they haven't been. They've been doing draw, win. I don't know. I think, you know, playing at Old Trafford, the crowd being the 12th player in support. Yeah, I think it's going to be a, I don't know, qualify. I'm just looking at the Arsenal game now. They're 4-1 up, apparently. Crystal Palace. They're doing a madness at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, they basically dropped off. They have no competitions to play for, just the league. Well, if you think about it, we have, what do we have? We're still in Europa League, FA Cup.
FA Cup,
I mean,
and fighting for third place as well, because that is very much an active competition, given how much people we have behind us.
I mean, we are literally playing, like, you know, most games out of them all, like we and City at the moment, isn't it? Like, you know, because City is also in FA Cup, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they won 6-0 last night against Burnley, so they're in the semi-finals now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. They scored, and what is Haaland scored another hat-trick.
Yeah. It's 8 goals in 4 days Haaland scored. 8 goals in 4 days.
Bad that Man United allowed Man City to
Ollie, what did you do?
Haaland, man.
Ollie had the connections. He had the keys to knock on Haaland's door. Like, you know, he screwed it up. Like,
he left the car running and went and did his shopping. By the time he came back out, the car was nicked. So
it was Pep Guardiola. Like, hey, see you later.
When was the shopping bag?
He's not at the wheel.
Yeah. Drop the wheel.
Yeah.
But you know, you
Well,
mentioned something about Conte at the beginning of the show, and it was funny to hear, you know, coaches from Tottenham and Arsenal, because I heard Arteta complaining about fixture congestion once upon a time, and I'm wondering, because given what everything has had to work with, I mean, given the three of them, he has had the least support in terms of fixtures. I mean, the
yeah.
World Cup came and disrupted everything for us. We have way more games to play. We have way more injuries and suspensions, and we've managed to keep up the pace in almost every competition. To be fair, I mean, also that 7-0, which personally I just think was
It
a
was a blip.
fluke. It was
It
a
was a
fluke.
blip.
Really, it's now
It was a
depiction of
blip.
what Manchester United really is in terms of development. I mean, we are way above that. I mean, it happens in sports. You know, it's
I
just one of
mean,
the things. You know,
that is a sheer coincidence of what you were saying, because post that game, you know, I was celebrating my 7th year anniversary. I went to
congratulations.
Krabi. Yeah.
You know, it's been
Went
late now.
to Krabi, stayed in a hotel called Seventh Heaven. Guess what the room number was?
Number 7.
702. I was like, damn. It was a blip, I would say so, you know. But we saw what Liverpool did afterwards. Like it was just a sheer madness. They rocked up like it was prime cup final. Henderson was the prime Henderson, and you know, regarding Antonio Conte throwing out his toys of his prem, I was analyzing, thinking, hang on a second, aren't you part of the recruitment? Aren't you the one telling who to buy?
Exactly.
You know, isn't it your job as a manager to instill that winning mentality to make them work? Like, you
Exactly.
know. So I was thinking, well, hang on a second. Conte. Well, Conte's been successful because he's always got what he wanted. It's like that spoiled kid in the candy shop. Points, I want this lollipop, you get this lollipop, right?
Mhm.
And of course, when you get this, I call it short-term investment, and he wins the leagues and then he buggers off. Like, you know, he never stays more than 2-3 years,
Yep.
maximum 2-3.
He's a Johnny
So
man.
yeah, so he buys those experienced old players just to win, and then he buggers off. So obviously, I kind of felt that this Spurs job kind of exposed him for, you know, is he a really good coach, or is it just, you know, he's not obviously not a tracksuit manager. That's one thing for Clem. Dan, what do you think?
With Antonio Conte, I think that I don't know why Spurs fans are moaning, to be honest, because he's literally what United fans were crying out for a few seasons ago, where we're like, look what happened when Rangnick came in. He called out the club when needed. He spoke what the fans wanted to hear, and he wasn't a filtered manager, and that's what Conte's always been. So I don't know why Spurs fans are moaning that he's calling out the players when the players aren't performing. Like, yes, Harry Kane is pretty much carrying Spurs this season, but Antonio Conte is literally being like, he's got a sword to his back and he's being forced off the plank, and there's sharks swimming in the ocean, and they're asking him to try and stay above the water with his arms tied behind his back. It's impossible.
I know.
And yes, he has had investment, and that's what caused Spurs to get top 4 last season. Obviously, they got signed Kulusevski, they signed Bentancur, which were good signings. And it seems that Spurs' front line is very good. It reminds me of PSG's, where it's a very quality front line, but the whole team around isn't up to that standard and it wasn't up to that quality. So I don't think it's actually down to the manager. I don't think it's down to the coaching. I honestly think it's down to the lack of investment that Spurs have received. I mean, I'm not too knowledgeable about Spurs, but I just say from a United standpoint and from what I've heard and what I've seen, that Spurs fans should be grateful of Antonio Conte, of what he's got for them, because like United, Spurs have been inconsistent and getting top 4 every season.
Yeah, but in a way, when you look back at Spurs and you do a comparison, you can see that Daniel Levy is kind of a carbon copy of Ed Woodward, right? You know, I mean, it's kind of, he sacked the only manager that got him to a final in Champions League, right? And I don't know, it seems like, for me, it's not always been like Conte signing. It's like a club signings in a way. Apparently, Jeb Spence was not Conte's selection. It was actually Daniel Levy's selection. But Perisic was definitely a Conte signing, right?
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Definitely.
But and then you look around in Chelsea, what Chelsea's also doing. It's kind of, football goes in cycles, according to me. And those teams like Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham are kind of where we were in last season and the season before. Like, just relying on individual brilliance. There was no cohesion, no team spirit. You can see they're not fighting for it. Graham Potter's team yesterday, they lost. I mean, how can they lose that win to 3-3 at the end of the day? Because you have no cohesion. You don't have the team cultural fighting
Chemistry is
spirit.
not there. Yeah.
No. So I don't really worry. I don't really look back what's behind us, because I don't see anyone being able to threaten our third spot, right? So the only ones that could threaten ourselves is ourselves. But I don't think Erik ten Hag will allow to do that. So to be honest,
it's
so
like
guys,
with the amount of games coming up as well. I'll admit I was one of them fans that's saying, should we actually sacrifice a trophy? Should we sacrifice a competition to secure top 4? And I got absolutely pelters for it. People were saying, we're Manchester United, we should be going for every single final, every single title, this and this. And I was like, yes, I agree. And I completely changed my mind. But the thing is that if you look at Erik ten Hag's what is an actual person, he's methodical, he's a leader, he's a winner, he's everything United have been crying out for. And it's like I was saying, should we just drop the Europa League due to the fact that we've got 8 games left of that competition? And like, if you count all the games that we've still got left of our season, we've got just under 20. So there's still lots and lots of games coming up, plus international breaks. So it is hard, and isn't it a massive ask for our players? So that's why I did say about players, should we sacrifice a competition? But then with Erik ten Hag, we beat Barcelona in the Europa League. So after that massive win, I don't think Erik ten Hag's like, right, okay, we have to give up Europa League now. Carabao Cup, we were already in the semi-finals at that point, so we're like, we can't ditch that. And the FA Cup, we're now in the quarterfinals for that. And he wants top 4 as well. So I've said from the get-go, if Erik ten Hag could get top 4 alone, then that's a successful season. Never mind the trophy that we've already got and the other possible finals we're going to be in. So we've just got to give Erik ten Hag a massive credit for what he's given. And I just love when Arsenal fans compare United to Arteta at the moment, because they're like, oh, Arteta's so much better than ten Hag because he's winning the league, when underneath their hoodies they've got Arteta out shirt still printed out. It's like they're so toxic, and they seem to forget what they've gone through. But because they're winning now, they don't focus on the past. And United, we're going through that transition. It's Erik ten Hag's first season, and he's already won a trophy, and he's taken us in the right direction.
Dan, hold my beer. Hold my beer for a second. I have a response to you, but my response is in song.
We're Man United, and you never gonna score. We're Man United, and you never gonna score.
Oh, yeah.
So we've seen it all. We won a lot, and we're never going to stop. So my response is to, why should we, right? The international break is coming up just perfectly fine. You get 2 weeks off, and hopefully players get a rest and just go away. Those who are not playing in the national teams, go away, relax, kick up, go to a beach or something, like, because they deserve it, right? Because coming back is going to be very, very brutal, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Then we have an opportunity that Christian Eriksen is coming back in April. We all know that. I don't know the situation with Martial. Will he come back? Will he not come back? Nobody knows what's really going on with Martial.
I've had some insight to Martial. So I met a guy who was telling me, and he knows, his friend is a coach of Manchester United, and he was saying that Erik ten Hag is watching Martial, because every time Erik ten Hag's brought Martial back this season, he's gotten injured very quickly after just coming back. So Erik ten Hag is putting Martial on a 4-week training program with the first team, where he's not going to be in the match day squads, but he's actually building him up to make sure that he doesn't get injured, so we can actually use him for the rest of the season.
Wow, that's a strategy.
I believe that's a good move, because I love the kid, but Martial had a press conference not long ago,
he's built like a
blaming
puppet
the
on
coach
Martial.
about how much the player was injured, and how much his injury was down to the coach playing him. Now he has a coach that's giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's taken that still fit. And this has been an age-old problem with Tony Martial. I love the kid, but I believe Man United deserves to have a striker with that number 9 on his back that plays more regularly than Anthony Martial does.
But that begs the question that then Gaffer sees something that I know Martial inside out. He's a baller, right? I like Martial if he can stay fit, right? But obviously the Gaffer has a plan for him, right? And the Gaffer has a plan because he wants to finish the season
Absolutely.
strong.
When it comes to talent, I don't doubt Marshall. I mean, absolutely, he's absolutely talented. He makes Manchester United attack looks better. I mean, every time he plays, he's very dynamic. He's not a target man for sure, but with the style of play that we're trying to implement right now, Anthony Martial is a perfect, striker to start for us all the time if he stays fit. When he's fit,
the thing is about Martial is that he reminds me of a pawn on a chessboard, where like he's such a vital piece to our formation, our tactics. It's the way, like, every time he's played this season, he always draws out the two central defenders for the opposition, and he always keeps them busy. And that's why Rashford was succeeding with him when Martial was in the team at first. But obviously now we've got 𝒂𝒂𝒄, who is a pressing machine, and where Rashford's also succeeding from that. So I think that no matter who the main striker is when Martial is fully fit, I think we've got good viable options, because if you've got Martial coming off the bench who is a threat, then the defenders are going to be worried. And if you've got a 6'6" Dutch massive horse who's a pressing machine comes running at you for 30 minutes.
I call him wood workhorse.
I mean, I love the guy, man. I don't be, for me personally, I don't think 𝒂𝒂𝒄 has done anything wrong. Giving everything about his story, from his price tag to his contributions, his age. He has literally fit in. And what it only shows is, if we ever sign a striker who has at least half of his work rate and is prolific, it's going to be even more beautiful than it is right now. Because 𝒂𝒂𝒄 is I love his commitment. I mean, he gives everything for the team. And he makes a difference, because for that system of play that everything is trying to execute, that high press, we need the strikers to press, and it's very important to it. So, I mean, I really rate him very highly.
He's not probably, I mean, he hasn't scored, he scored 1 or 2, right? So far.
He scored 2, 2 goals.
Scored twice already, yeah.
But in games, he's been quite prolific in pressing, as you said. But I would expect to be more of a target man, like, especially with his height, like, to head more balls in. So far, it's been Rashford has been heading the balls into the net. But who else are we looking at that? Of course, Casemiro will sit out his first ban today, and then he will be, has to sit out 3 more games, right? So he will be back when in
sometime in April.
He misses. I think it's Newcastle and Brentford. He misses, and then I think it might be. I think it might be the Forest game. No, it's not.
Yeah, I think Forest. So, but he misses, I think, 3 Premier League games and 1 FA Cup game.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's bullshit. Sorry.
I mean,
I'm still upset about that, to be honest.
That's a whole different story for another day.
I mean, the guy literally played over 500 professional leagues, in Champions Leagues and everything, in La Liga and everything. Never received 1 red card. Comes to Prem, gets sent off twice by almost the same referee. We're not going to talk about his name, but we know the marinate this. I don't know. Is it agenda? Is it not? I'm just looking back on the 13th of January when we played City, when Marcus Rashford scored the goal, and there was like a media frenzy, but if it was a VAR decision, offside or not. And of course, the refs got a lot of stick for that, because media didn't stop writing about it. And ever since then, we haven't received any favorable results from the refs. So is it a coincidence? I don't know. Just hope that the refs are on the toes today. And you know what? We will see. Do you know who is the referee today?
I don't know. No, it should be on One Football.
I don't think I have an idea.
Cool.
For some reason, I want to say Anthony Taylor, but I hope not.
Anthony Taylor. Big up, Kasimi. Hi, mate. How are you? Are you excited? Like, guys, what do you think the score prediction will be? Like, do you think it's going to be a high scoring, or do you think, because Fulham is not a pushovers, right? Do you think it's going to be like, clean sheet?
I've got 1-0 to United. I think that it's going to. I think it's going to be like the Real Betis game, where it's very end to end, but United just take their chance a bit better. So I think that United are going to be a bit more clinical with it. But I'd say it's going to be a very end-to-end game.
Yeah. Guys, let us know in the comments below. Let us know. Yeah, you got 1-9.
I got 3-1 United, and I believe we're going to score 3 goals. I believe we'll score 3 goals for 2 halves today. For too many reasons. We've been looking for the opportunity to get back and have an emphatic win. Even in the absence of Casemiro, I believe we have too much to dominate this game and to win by at least 3. But I'm not sure if we're going to keep a clean sheet. So 3-1 United for me.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm thinking. I go with 3-1 United as well, because I said that in my preview as well. I don't think David De Gea is going to keep a clean sheet. I think it will be preseason Paolo that belts a free kick or something, right? I just know that this guy is going to turn up at Old Trafford. That's what I think. But
does he celebrate though? Does he celebrate? Do you think?
Do you think he will celebrate? Nah, I don't know. I don't think so. Out of respect.
I don't think Pereira is going to celebrate. I think he still loves United enough to not do that. He's going to show respect because I think the fans going to give him respect as well.
Yeah, he'll get a clap or something, no doubt.
Yep.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I initially thought 2-1 United, right? But then I'm so patriotic, so I said, no, screw that. I'm going 3-1.
Yeah. I mean, I believe we will. I mean, I won't be surprised if Weghorst get in today and he scores 1. I mean, Fulham has a great midfield attack, but their defense is not really all that. And I believe we can get a couple of goals past them.
I'm confident it's going to be 1-0, right? And that this is how I think the game's going to go. I think it's going to be 0-0 by half time. And then I think that because United always seem to come alive in the second half, United are going to score in the 57th minute, right? Listen to this, 57th minute. And it's going to be a Luke Shaw goal.
A Luke?
So,
okay, say that again. We're clipping this. We're clipping this.
So
say that again.
You can clip this. You can clip this because it seems for me that every time Luke Shaw plays against Fulham, he always has a blinder. And the law of averages say that Luke Shaw is his best team that he plays against in a United shirt is Fulham. So I think Luke Shaw will score the goal in the 57th minute.
Okay, that's been clipped, documented. Caesar, give me your best shot.
I believe it's going to be 3-1 because Man United is overdue for another, at least, better performance to cement what I said previously regarding the 7-0 that it was a fluke. I believe this is an opportunity to show and to prove to the fans that our project is still what it was instead of what people think was after that Liverpool defeat. So 3-1 United.
You get some music there as well. Cool. Okay, that is being clipped. Okay, while we are rocking on, it's time for my... I also think 3-1, based on the logic and reasoning that I think that the workhorse boots will come off, will be flying, the ball will go in the net, he will head one. I also believe that Sabitzer will come in and score a belter outside the 6-yard box, and Rashford will score. In terms of the timeline, I don't have a clue. I don't care. As long, people, as long as we win.
3-1.
That's all. 3-1. That's all it matters. 3-1.
Yep.
But I'd rather have 7 just to revenge Liverpool.
That would be like drinking cold water in the middle of 100-degree temperature.
Well, I'm more of a Sprite man myself. I don't like 7-Up. I think it's very overrated.
I believe it was overrated as well.
Who is saying till United, big up. Come on, and he also agreed. Come on, Luke or Sciaberto. Yeah, Luca Sciaberto, eh?
Mm-hmm.
He should play for Antonio Conte, Luca Sciaberto, eh? I want to recruit Luca. ha. Fantastic.
But speaking about Spurs, just to make a note about that point, I will be, if I was a Tottenham fan, I will be frustrated because Tottenham does not seem to have a project. They just want to, win and take advantage of whatever opportunities that any other type of team.
You do realize when Harry Kane joins United in the summer, Spurs are getting relegated. You do realize that's going to happen.
Definitely.
Right?
I mean, he's carried them for so long. I mean, it's obvious that they're not going to get a player as good as Harry Kane after he leaves. I mean, not in the first transfer window for sure, because quality strikers nowadays are so hard to find, and the ones you can find are so expensive. You know?
But realistically speaking, do you think Daniel Levy will release him from the hostage? He's been keeping him in the dungeon for 6 years.
Well, his contract's up next season, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's got to let him go.
So I think it'll be more about Harry Kane pushing to make it work. Truth be told, there should be two things in the situation. Number one, the willingness for United to go through that tough situation with Levi, who is, as time immemorial, we saw the Dimitar Berbatov situation. We saw the Michael Carrick situation. We saw other players that were taken for Spurs. And it was never an easy, strategy. I mean, they always push it to the last penny. But I believe Harry Kane's last year in his contract is going to play a key role, because he too will see the importance he's going to play on Man United. It's going to be a marriage of convenience. He's going to win some trophies with us, and at the end of his career. So yeah,
man, we're gonna sing the Frozen song. Let him go, let him go.
Exactly.
Don't come around here no more. Hear me say. No, but he deserves to move.
Oh yeah, he does.
The thing is, though, what no one seems to be bringing up as well is that who remembers when Harry Kane went on strike when Man City was supposed to be coming in for him, and he went on strike and didn't go on training, and apparently he doesn't want to move. He wants to stay at Spurs for the rest of his career. Like, Harry Kane wants to break the all-time Premier League goal-scoring record, right? Mm-hmm. He won't go to Man City because of Haaland. He won't go Liverpool because he just it stinks there. It's horrible at Liverpool. And he won't go to another London club out of loyalty to Spurs if he does have any. So for me, I think that the only destination for him is Manchester United. Would I have Harry Kane over Osimhen? No, but Harry Kane has been a veteran striker, and he's a brilliant striker, and yeah, I wouldn't say no. Let's just say that he just wouldn't be my first option.
No, I agree with you, Dan. I mean, I've been silent on this, but I don't really want Harry Kane. I mean, he's a great striker. Would he be a world-class striker? There's a lot of debates on the socials, like world-class. I feel like
that Harry Kane either goes one of two ways: either flops like, I don't know, like Jadon Sancho has, or he is like a Casemiro signing. I don't think he's an in-between sign. He either does very, very well or does very, very shit. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, well, I'm causing a debate because people are saying world-class. For world-class, for me, if you won a lot of things, like, you haven't won anything. A world-class player for me is like a Mbappe or a Cristiano Ronaldo, or they can grab the game by the scruff of the neck and just, finish off the game, right? Like Zlatan Ibrahimovic also used to do, right? For me, I'm just afraid it's going to be another Harry Maguire signing if we sign him. You know what I mean? So I agree with you, Dan. We'd rather go for a younger striker like who do I fancy? I fancy Benjamin Sesko, upcoming, right? Or an Osimhen, Victor Osimhen as well, right?
Vlahovic.
Or Vlaho.
Vlahovic, that would be those are ideal signings to be too. And I will absolutely be over the moon if we get any of them. But I will say this. Let's not sleep on Harry Kane. Harry Kane is not world class, but he's top quality. I like the point he made. About being world class and being top quality. Harry Kane is top quality. He's proven to be a top quality striker. He hasn't won a lot, and it's that lack of trophies.
Whether you think Harry Kane's is a world class striker or not, he's definitely an upgrade on 𝒂𝒊𝒄𝒌. Let's just say that.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And he's going to guarantee goals. I mean, we've been down this road before, not once. I mean, we saw what happened when we signed Henry Larsson on an interim basis. It was just for 6 months doing the deal to Alex Ferguson. Larsson came in, banged the goals. We saw it with Michael Owen. He came in at a later age as well. He didn't do too much, but he made an impact. We saw a Robin van Persie. Robin van Persie came from Arsenal. He was almost in his 30s.
Robin van Persie.
I believe Harry Kane is going to be a replica of what Robin van Persie did, given the style of play that Erik ten Hag is trying to infuse in this Manchester United team.
Right.
We have created a lot of chances. We just not scoring them, truth be told. And for somebody like Harry Kane that has the quality to convert chances in the box, I believe he's going to be the opposite to the Maguire kind of signing.
But do you think that he will keep Weghorst, or do you think that's just a 6 months loan? That's it.
I think the Weghorst, relationship is going to be a short one. I mean, at the end of the season, First off, one thing we have to consider as much is another thing, major thing that's happening to Manchester United right now. That is the sale of Man United. We have to consider the fact that when the next transfer window comes, it's going to be one of the most important for us in a very long time. Given the fact that, number one, either we'll have a new owner and we'll have the potential investing in a couple of players to enhance the squad. Given that, we definitely cannot keep Weghorst. We'll have to sell, we'll let him go. Or if I don't know what's going to happen, given how far, if the Glazers are going to have a 360 on this whole process, given that we have had, parties from bidders going to visit facilities, look at the financials and all of that. So I think the ownership of Manchester United is going to play a major role into who we sign next season. And I'm going to say this: if we are owned by the Qataris, I mean, I don't even know. It's more
Show
like,
me the money.
It's going to be such a good dream. And I know a lot of people, especially those that live in England and the traditional Manchester fans, a lot of people have a different opinion, and I totally respect their opinion, and I know where they come from. But Manchester is such a global brand right now. Like, I mean, whatever they have for themselves has become so big that we all love it so much all around the world right now. Like, but the Qataris are going to transform us into something special. I believe they have what it takes to get rid of the debt, to improve the facilities, and to invest heavily in the team to make us what we deserve to be.
But not only the Qataris, there's other bidders in the process as well. But anything, what I wanted to say, let me land. Anything else than the Glazers will be fine by me.
No,
even if
no,
it's
no,
Sergio.
No. I would actually. No, I'm not going to say that because I'll get cancelled. But I don't want Sergeant Ratcliffe and Isonus, whatever they're called. I do not want them.
Me too.
Because they will be exactly like the Glazers. It'll have the same effect. It'll just be that there'll be just less toxicity. That'll be it. So if United, the only way to move forward in football nowadays is money. Who has the most money? Qatar. So, and the thing is as well is that people are going to say, "Oh, the Glazers are going to choose the most suitable buyer for Manchester United." No, they're going to choose the people with the biggest wallet, which is Qatar. So. I feel like that is the right decision for everyone. It's time for the Glazers to cash up and go home. Yes, it's disgusting that they're going to earn billions of pounds after keeping the debt at Old Trafford. But you know what? The Qataris have already made a statement that they'd keep Erik ten Hag, they'd upgrade Old Trafford, they'd upgrade all the infrastructure, and they'd get rid of the debt and support the manager. So realistically, they've ticked every single box of mine, and they've got rid of the Glazers at the same time. So
absolutely.
I mean, it's basically saying everything that the fans wants to hear. What you haven't heard Sir Jim Ratcliffe been saying at all. All Sir Jim Ratcliffe was saying, to put Manchester back to Manchester, right? And only to buy 69% of the shares and to bankroll it. But the bankrolling will be just in form of a bond covered by the Bank of America, basically. That will be reinvested into ENEOS. Now, the interesting part is that, these are the two obvious ones that's been going out on PR, and that's why the so-called sports journalists that are not financial reporters done a crash course. And I mean, all I'm saying, keep your powder dry and you will know within 10 days, there might be another bidder, a Middle Eastern bidder in there as well. Right? At the end of the day, I agree with Dan is saying. The biggest correlation in sport nowadays is money. What Sir Jim Ratcliffe said, City has it, PSG has it, and it's just a matter of fact of utilizing that money smart, right? To back the manager, let the manager have control, put a sporting director up, other than John Murtough, you know what I mean? But professional people, to back the vision of Erik ten Hag, and at the same time, we need a sugar daddy for the first 3 years because Glazers has been running us to the ground for the 17 years. We all know that they didn't put in one single dollar of their own pocket, so we need to play catch up, right, for the first 3 years. But United is such a big club on itself. It's like fourth biggest club in the world. We are sustainable on our own revenue, the revenue that we generated. We just need the sugar daddy to help us to stand up on our legs again, like Bambi, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like Bambi, man. I mean, even I don't know if there's any other sad story to help us stand on our legs, because we need those legs. And Dan couldn't have said it any better, I won't lie. And that's a clear depiction of what we exactly need. A situation that will rescue us from what we currently have, not to partially solve the problem, and as you already said, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but their proposal for me in my mind is not solving the problem. It's just kind of a change of regime. And in no time, 3 to 5 years, Man United is going to be in the same boat, dealing with debts and refinancing issues. And I mean, the thing about the economics of football right now is so much bigger than football. It's a global issue right now that you know, we can even have the next 3 days talking about it. We even solve all of that.
Yeah.
But truth be told, we need somebody that can just get rid of the debt, invest in the team, give us that at least $300 million in one transfer window to spend at least for the next 3 transfer windows. That's sugar daddy that you're talking about.
And give us Mbappe.
Exactly.
We need
Victor Osimhen. You know, that would make you dream. You know, Victor Osimhen. He scored again today.
We need the Qatarian Todd Bowley, don't we? Like a guy that will just spend millions and millions on just random players that the manager wants.
Exactly. Well, that's the direction sport is going now. Capitalism in sports is big.
But but guys, honestly, in all serious note though, is that I kind of like and respect what Newcastle are doing, because they've got the richest owners in the league, right? And they don't act like it. They're slowly building, they're slowly increasing what we need to increase and making everything better. And that's kind of what I want United to be like. I don't want to be like Chelsea, where they buy like 20 players in the season. I want to build our team slowly. And the thing is that people say, oh, it's toxic for saying stuff like, oh, get rid of Scott McTominay, get rid of Harry Maguire. It's not like they're bad players. It's just that they're not good enough for where United want to be. It's like we need to make upgrades on certain players. So it's like we're getting rid of Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire if that does happen, and we're going to upgrade. Like, I don't know, we'd get a Frankie De Jong or a Kim Min-jae or a Jurrien Timber. Like someone like that. Like, we're making upgrades, and that's why Man City are, because how many fullbacks did they buy until they got the right pairing, until one ended up in jail? Like, you know, it's
But I would say this too, though, Dan. You know, you make a very good point. You know, but the difference between Man United's project and Newcastle's project, because they are both projects, given how much patience is being given into building from the foundation. Man United has a stature that Newcastle does not have now. So when it comes to signing players, even if they have 5 billionaires as owners, no player would just want to play for Newcastle right now because they have all the money in the world. So they have to build that stature. So they're going through the process right now, and hats off to them. They're doing the right things, and they are, you know, becoming competitive. They are, you know, building a very solid team. That Newcastle is not a pushover anymore. But Manchester, on the other hand, we are the ones who have the stature of being starved of that kind of support. Because if Man United right now, given the way everything is going, if we just qualify for the Champions League and have a $500 million war chest, even Mbappe will want to play for us, because again, the minimum standard is Champions League and the potential to win trophies, which I believe, you know, more money would bring and solve that problem for us in the shorter term as compared to Newcastle.
That's it. Yeah. We actually had Jack Talbot on last week. He's a brilliant transfer writer. He's also a Newcastle supporter, and he discussed this about. I asked him the question as well, like, barring that you had one of the richest owners in the world, like, you haven't invested money. What is the transfer expectation this month? He pretty much echoed what Dan was saying. They're doing it smart, like through a what do you call it?
Transition.
Yeah.
Transition, right? But they're doing an incremental model, right? Little by little, little by little. Because barman, you also have FFP that's playing mind as well. So what Todd Bowley has done is just absolutely criminal, like in way how you're operating a sports club. You've gone all in, like, spend all your money, and then you can't spend anything next season. You have to sell off a lot of players as well. And does it work? Does it work? I mean, we saw that in the beginning as well, where with Tuchel, he got a lot of players, but you have to then integrate all these players. You have to, there's a lot of players you have to work with, 8 new signings, right?
Just something to mention, Mick, though, is that the way Chelsea are right now, my boss at work is a Chelsea fan, and I had this conversation with him the other day, and I was saying that Chelsea at the moment remind me how Nottingham Forest were at the start of the season, where they got like a load of players in that didn't gel together. There was no chemistry, and all they were doing off was what the manager was giving off. And with the amount of players that have been brought in, and obviously Tuchel getting sacked early in the season, Graham Potter hasn't really been able to implement what he wants from the team. I think that Chelsea, if they make Europe at all, it will be a good season for them from where they are right now. Obviously, that's not what they expected at the start of this season. But the fact 100%. Is that where they are right now, if they can get Conference League or even Europa League, then they'd have to say that that's a successful season.
I'm
Like,
sorry. Conference
it's
League.
funny.
Then you make a good point, man. You know, truth be told, I really do think that a lot has happened. You know, my wife is a Chelsea fan. We've been truly each other in this, you know, together for as long as we've been married. But one thing I feel sorry for Chelsea, I would say, is because of the change of ownership during the season and everything that happened. You know, because of the Ukraine situation that forced them into it. But at the same time, I really do think, you know, given the decisions they've made, I think they've given up on this season already, and they want to restart on a new project. So the addition of 8 players right now is really not for this season. It's really just because they want to see how those players can build chemistry and go into the next season. Just
I
the
take
next
off
season
my
is going to be
hat.
scary, depending on who's going to be the coach and how much well they play together, because that's a bunch of really good players, though.
I know, but I take off my hat because it's the funeral. Like, Chelsea are in 10th. I'm sorry. Sorry, take the banter. Guys, we are coming 5 minutes to kick off. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Come back after the kickoff show. Look, players are coming out. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to enjoy it. But join us 10-15 minutes afterward. We are doing Call It a Spade. Jay Daly, you guys will also be there. Welcome. I will share the link. Score prediction, me and Caesar went 3-1. Daniel went what?
I went 1-0.
Okay, let's see who will be right. See you after. Guys, thank you for watching. See you later. Enjoy the game.
Good one, man.
Ciao, Bella. Let's go. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.